I was told that Kaguya-Sama was the second coming of Jesus Christ by everyone on any Twitter, so I decided to just bite the bullet and give it a shot. What I got was the same two people stuck in a shed scene that I've seen in every other high school anime. Yay. Oh wow, they realized that the situation is an anime trope. What? They almost kissed but didn't? How original. Next you're gonna tell me this guy gets yelled at for being a pervert. Fans of Kaguya-Sama will notice that I'm talking about episode 8 of the second season of the show. Yes, that is the first episode I watched. I started halfway through the second season. This is an okay thing to do. In fact, I'll go as far to say that this is what I was supposed to do. Back before every episode of a show was available on the internet, this is how things worked. If they wanted me to start at episode 1, they wouldn't still be teasing the main relationship of the show halfway through the second season. We can make fun of moms for watching The Bachelor or some other reality TV show, but at least they know at the end of the day those two people are getting married. A satisfying ending is not guaranteed in most anime. At least things happen in American TV shows. I know in The Big Bang Theory, Penny and Howard eventually get together and will be dating. I know Sheldon will make some big invention or whatever. Now it's still a comedy series, I don't expect the status quo to drastically change, but it's nice to know that these are characters who are progressing in their lives. Have you guys ever watched The Big Bang Theory? I never watched it when it was airing, because everyone on the internet hated it for being like nerd blackface and also not being very good. That only makes me wonder why I can sit through a whole season of the show but never more than 2 episodes of any anime that's come out in the past 5 years. My first instinct was to make a simple claim that The Big Bang Theory was simply better than the anime I've seen recently, and while that may or may not be the case, there's a pretty good chance that I might be murdered for even suggesting that, so let's talk about something else. That whole nerd blackface claim. This is a dumb claim, not because it's wrong, but because that implies that anything produced by a large studio is anything but some form of blackface. Sex and the City is woman blackface. Breaking Bad is drug dealer blackface. Blackish is black blackface. They're all fake. These are not real people going about their lives. They are actors portraying characters specifically crafted to mimic real groups of people. I know this is obvious, but I feel like people aren't really getting it. Of course, the only 2 groups of people who get mad about unrealistic depictions are women and nerds, my 2 nemeses. Of course, nerds make superficial references to pop culture and pass it off as humor. Women do be shopping. Didn't this video have something to do with anime? No.
That's his piece.
Yeah, he already got it.
Really? What the hell?
Really?
Mario Kart?
Yeah, that's totally not Mario Kart.
What was that?
Oh man.
Marine Kart, dude. All of the references.
Oh, Dano God, I said hold on.
I know what you're thinking, but what about Seinfeld? That show didn't have any gimmicks. Seinfeld was a show about how people put too much stock in social conventions, not about how Jerry was a Jewish comedian. That's just the context. Much like how the context for The Big Bang Theory is a world where video games, technology, and comic book movies were becoming increasingly mainstream. A once insular community is now forced to interact with normal society, creating a brackish pot of miscommunication. It's almost like a stereotypical blonde girl moving next door to a group of nerds, like a metaphor or something. And like all good metaphors, it's a metaphor. My mind demon says that someone watching this will think, oh, but you have to have an odd one out or girl so the boys have something to bounce off of. I just had to say that's completely off the mark. Having a female main character? Probably some kind of requirement. That female being a country bumpkin with no prior relationship with any sort of nerd culture or academia? Not necessary. Hollywood may be a mass market machine, but there are intentional creative decisions being made. I know it seems like I'm sucking The Big Bang Theory's dick, but it's like a 6 out of 10 show. I don't even like it that much. But you know what? I'll take it. I will take a lighthearted show about the shifting tide within, oh fuck the justification. I just like it when Sheldon makes fun of people for being dumb, and they make fun of him for being an autistic spurg. It's great. It's like my life. The acting in the show is one of its strong points, and the characters all have fun personalities that work well together. None of them are comedically unrealistic in their quirks except for Sheldon, which is what makes him such a great foil to his more down-to-earth friends. But I know what you're thinking again. But what about Seinfeld? That show actively avoided any character changes and often left episodic plots unresolved to great effect. Is it not contradictory to praise Western television for its ability to change over time while still holding Seinfeld up as a pinnacle of situational comedies? Well, no. You see, Seinfeld did that intentionally. It wasn't spinning its wheels. Each episode just focused on individual plots, and it was upfront about this. Each episode can be enjoyed on its own, but as a treat for those who stuck around through it all, the series finale acted as a metatextual resolution that positioned all the individual plots into a larger picture, which recontextualizes the whole series. Which brings me to the real point of this video. Seinfeld is space dandy.
Bazinga!